For the founders in the space with style and grace, I'm Brittany Antoinette, host of the Not So CEO talk show and founder of The Idea Girl. From work and wellness to bootstrapping and burnout, we cover all bases on building a brand, whether you're a seasoned vet or you're just getting started. Through guest interviews, water cooler combos, and office hours, we're paving way for a new era of Not So CEOs. So grab a notepad and tune in for unfiltered banter on branding, business, and bullshit. In today's episode, we're having Water Cooler Convo with media maven and lifestyle authority, Kéla Walker. 7-time Emmy-nominated TV host and producer, Kéla Walker is a multi-talented media personality. An authentic storyteller, Kéla has leveraged her talents to cultivate a highly engaged tribe of cuties across her social media platforms who see her as a bestie in my head. Identified by Essence magazine as a tastemaker and it girl, Kéla has established herself as an authority within the community with a passion to enlighten, connect, and inspire. Kéla strikes a balance between hard work and play, inspiring others to make their dreams a reality and live their best life. When she's not hosting or producing content for notable media outlets like OWN, BET, CLEO TV, Getty, or conducting red carpet interviews at the Tony Awards, the Met Gala, or the Grammys, Kéla curates authentic content for leading consumer brands, keeping her audience craving more of her Que La Vie lifestyle with every share. So sit back, pour up, and meet us right by the water cooler.
When where have you been? Nobody loves you like us.
Nobody love me. Okay.
Like my cancer says. It's about to be our season, Kéla.
Girl, the countdown is on. We just days away.
What are you doing for your birthday?
Girl, I don't even know. I'm like, it's so funny because every time it comes, I'm like, damn, it just sneaks up on you, even though like you know it's coming. I'm never prepared and ready for my birthday.
Listen, I told everybody because I was like, oh, I'm gonna plan. I was gonna do like a cute little tea party at La Durée. And then I started calculating the amount of people. I was like, oh no. Like there's too many people. And then I was like, you know what?
Bad charging people?
And then I felt bad charging people. And then I felt bad, like, okay, well, if I invite this person, I have to invite this person. And I'm like, okay, well, these are like kind of like
it's your birthday
of having so many people in your circle. And it's like, goddamn, well, I know a lot of people. And
you know
then
what?
I was like, I was going to do something in the park. And then, girl, I started designing the flyer, and I was like, yeah, I ain't doing this no more. I will catch y'all for 35.
You're a Cancer, and you doing the most, okay? You doing the most, and you trying to keep it so simple and so small. But it's like, you can a flyer, Brittany, for your friends?
Girl,
a flyer for your friends?
So I started getting threats. Like, I better get a personal invite. I'm like, okay, girl.
This is why I love to do a little sip and see, okay?
Right. Wait, what is that?
Come see me on a rooftop somewhere while I sip on the drinks that you buy me, okay? A sip and see.
I like that. Nobody will feel pressure to split the dinner bill.
Cute little rooftop somewhere. Come by at your leisure. You'll be cute. Glass in hand, ready to receive. And then you can do your little tea party with maybe 5 friends. Like,
girl, I got so many more than 5 friends. And it's just so crazy because
you got a tight circle.
I do have a tight circle, but then that circle kind of like extends outside of that because you have like those close little friends. And then it's like, okay, then I have the group that I'm pretty close with that you'll definitely see me at their birthday party. So it would be crazy if I don't invite them to my birthday party. But that's just the joys of living in New York City and being a big city girl.
You got to curate this list, okay? You got to make it look tight. Yeah,
I'm gonna have Kéla curate this list for me. She's gonna be like, "No, you're not invited."
I'm like, how often do you talk to them? No, once a month? No, they can't come. Like, if you talk every day, yes, they're on the list. At least once a week, maybe. But That, or you tell the people, hello, I am open and available for lunches, brunches, bookings, and everything in between.
So that part, so that's another reason why I didn't want to do a one big party, because I was like, I want to be taken out for as many lunches and brunches and dinners as much as possible. Already got one of my friends, one of my girls booked me already for that Sunday. I'm like, yes, please. I'm here, but I like the
sip. I be paying for you for my birthday. It's my birthday, okay?
It's my prime time for
Tell me how much you love me on my birthday. Nothing tells me quite like how much you love me, quite like taking me out and whining and dining me, okay?
But I love the idea that you originally said about kind of like the sip and see me on a rooftop bar somewhere. I'm like, oh my God, that literally, like, everyone would feel no pressure. And it's kind of like, just show up as you can. I'm about to look me up some.
Everyone loves a good rooftop moment. Everybody loves a good rooftop. What's your date again?
I'm the 26th. So I'm next Wednesday.
Oh my gosh.
It's right there. And I'm turning 33.
Yeah, you are right there. Oh, cool. Oh,
you're in July, though.
I am July 9th.
July 9th. Well, technically, you're like 2 weeks after me. If anything, like a week. Yeah. So you're like around 4th of July weekend. Do you have any plans?
And it's right after Essence Fest. I'm going to Essence Fest. So that's the other thing. Essence Fest is over on the 7th. My birthday is on the 9th. By the time it roll around, baby, I'm tired.
Right.
It's always, it's like, go.
Do you have any plans for this year?
Well, for my birthday or?
For your birthday?
Not yet, because I'm literally like, I'll cross that bridge when I get there, because I'm not really good at planning and prepping in advance. I'm not that girl, which is why I make a really great travel buddy. If anybody else books and plans something, I'm like, let me know, sis. All I got is dime and a time. I can be there. I make a really great travel buddy. I can go with the flow. I find my position. I get in there. You know what I mean? As long as we got the same vibe and energy, all that to say, no, I do not have plans because I am not a planner in that way.
Okay, and that's okay.
Because I'm trying to get
you bring the party with you.
You know what? Wherever we go, it's a vibe.
Wherever we go, it's a vibe. You're gonna
go. When I say bring, I'm like, oh, I'm in the right place.
I do have questions though, but I'm gonna let you kind of guide the conversation naturally. So I might not ask all questions, but the first one that I always like to start off with is for you to tell me a little bit about your background. Where did you grow up and where did you go to school?
Okay, so New York. So I am originally from North Carolina. So I always say like Southern born, Northern bred, moved around, lived in a lot of places, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Georgia. I just named a city and a state, but you picking up what I'm putting down.
I get it.
And so I went to school a bunch of places, but I did high school and college here in New York. I went to I went to John Jay High School over in Park Slope, last of the Mohicans, if you will. And I went to Binghamton University, upstate New York. Don't ask me what year I graduated, because we ain't talking about numbers unless we talking about checks. Okay, baby? But just know, born in the South, bred in the North. Hi, she's familiar. She's got hustle, but she's got heart.
How did you go to high school in New York City? Because if you went to high school in New York City, then you understand what high schoolers or kids in New York went through. Like, going to high school in New York is a different vibe.
Yeah, I was going before it was a Metro card.
Not when we had tokens.
Girl, remember, so you went to high school in New York City, right?
Yes.
But remember they used to give those little passes? You got like a train pass or a bus pass.
The little green Metro
like
cards.
A holographic situation on it. Sis, let me tell you my hustle from the get-go, because my mom only gave me a little bit of money for my weekly expenditures, and I was like, well, I gotta go get my doobie at Maribel's. If you know, you know.
Wow, you really threw it back.
Because I'm from New York. I may not have been born here, but I'm from New York. So she only gave me a little bit of money. So I was in a two-fare zone because I used to live in Starrick City. Yes.
Kayla, you're lying to me right now. You know I live in Canarsie, right?
I did not. I don't know where you live.
First of all, that is crazy, because Starlight City, the fact that you call it Starlight, you're an OG New Yorker, because Starlight, it used to be, they changed it to Spring Creek. That's literally 5 blocks away from me in the opposite direction, which is crazy.
I don't know nothing about no Spring Creek. Spring Creek used to be like the back block, like by the.
They rebranded it.
They rebranded because Spring Creek was like the townhouses that were on the back block over by Pathmark, and it was like, these are
nice. You just said Pathmark. I'm weak.
I'm putting so like you. I'm glad we here. We see each other.
We're here. The fact that you said Pathmark is like, that is such a super throwback.
Starrett City, you know I'm from New York.
Wait, so you remember when they just started building Gateway Mall?
Yes, I remember. There was no Gateway. That was just land.
I remember that.
The rumor is like Starrett City sits on top of like an old dump ground. And so it was just land. So now that there's a Red Lobster and like Nordstrom Rack over there, I'm like,
it's a whole different world.
But mind you, I'm never over there. And I never used to understand when my friends were like, oh my gosh, you live so far. Because again, I went to high school in Park Slope. I took a train and a bus from Starrett City to get to school. And my friends would be like, you live so far. And I thought it was absolutely normal to take 2 trains and a bus to get to school until I moved to Prospect Heights or, just grew up. And now I'm like, oh, nah, baby, I can't make it on that side of town.
That was a journey if you break it down.
And I didn't know no better because that's when I started high school here. I had just came from Philadelphia. And so in Philadelphia, we took the trolley to school and it was just like, it was just get your ass to school by any means necessary.
What did you want to be when you grew up? Like when you were a child, what did you want to be?
Excuse me. It's funny because I feel like I've always been creative, but like I wanted to be a lawyer. For a really long time, I wanted to be a lawyer. And I think
I can see that.
I went to John Jay. Oh, listen.
I can see that.
And me, I am so like pragmatic, like make it make sense. 1 + 1 better equal 2. And if it come out to 3, make it make sense. Like I will break something down, strategize, like that don't make sense. So I can see how I might have succeeded in law with that kind of like strategy and thinking. But someone along the way was like, oh, you have to be like the creme de la creme, top of your class, number 1, top 1% to make money in law. And I was like, well, that sounds like a lot of work. That don't sound like me. And somewhere along the way in high school, while at John Jay, thinking I wanted to be a lawyer, I was like, wanted to do media. I was like, how do these people on TV, like what, how, just what? And really leaned into that. And thankfully knew very early on that I wanted to work in television and media and have been so blessed to do so.
I love that. And it's funny because there's a few parallels there. Like, in order for you to be a lawyer, you have to be extremely charismatic. That's something that people don't understand about being a lawyer. It's not just about knowing the book back to front. It's also knowing how to be persuasive and how to convince people to take your side or to take your client's side in a case based on facts, of course, but a lot of it has to do with the art of persuasion. So I can definitely see how you wanting to be a lawyer as a child aligns with your career now. So you mentioned you kind of broke out into media. Like instead of you going to law school, you were like, you know what? Let me switch over to media real quick. And you actually started off with producing original content for a local New York City network.
Research.
One thing I'm going to do is take my notes, okay? So let's talk about your track record and how you went from producing original local content for the city to now being a moderator at all of the red carpets that we see.
Yeah, I mean, it's been quite the journey. And it's funny because I think like, I feel like, you just do the work. When you love what you do the work. And I think like we can identify that on that, like being sort of, I guess in this day and age, old school, like you do the work. And it's not ever that you're looking for the glam or the glitz of it all. But I just have always done the work, always said yes, always looked for opportunities, always been mindful of my character, knowing that my reputation will look after itself if I watched after my character. And just always just being engaging. And so, and then for me, it was really great. I was at that cusp of new media, right? Social media was not a thing when I was doing traditional television, working at a local New York City television network. But I started blogging and it felt like a way to get my voice out, my narrative, to own my narrative, if you will, which is really important to me. And so it was just this slow progression, but very steady of like merging traditional media with new media. And so now you have it where, people see you on Instagram and they're like, oh, you host. And I'm like, well, that's what I do. Like, that's my livelihood. That's my bread and butter. This social media stuff, this is cute. And this, it buys me a purse and it takes me on some trips here and there. But, it's just been this slow, steady progression of working, putting in the work. And again, very much being mindful of my character, knowing that my reputation will watch out for itself.
Did you find that there were any type of like complexities with growing up? And of course, we have like old media, which is our traditional way of doing things. What was that integration like of having to go from traditional media to new media, which is now social media, because everything is on social media now? Do you feel like there were any type of conflicts, or do you feel like it was difficult making that transition, because you technically do both and you're great at both?
Thank you so much. I think it's hard. I was having this conversation with a colleague, if you will, another media personality, in that like there's no one in front of us that has done this before. We are on these paths that we are blazing, creating, if you will, the benchmark of like what it can look like. So it's been difficult because it's literally trial and error. And I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like, yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. Let's put it on the grab, but it's essentially being mindful of who I am, how I want to show up, the stories that I want to tell. And like, if that's on television, great. If it's online, if it's in person, either way, as long as I am being able to tell the story, that's what's most important. But I love the fact that it's no longer just about local news, local stories, but it really is about the World Wide Web, as we're seeing social media allows us to reach the depths of spaces and places that we've never been to.
And speaking of media, because yes, you have done them for many outlets and different publications, and you've even done a lot of writing. But aside from you doing writing for some of our favorite publications that we tune into, you also started your own blog to showcase your personal style, Kéla's Closet. What was it like writing for other publications and then creating your own safe space on the internet?
Yeah, I think when I started Kéla's Closet, it was really my way of like owning, again, my narrative, having a space and a place where I can show up and do what I want to do and really, show up and show out without saying a word. And that's why I'm so much into fashion. I feel like it just speaks for us. And I was able to say so much on the blog that my network didn't have to approve. But at the same time, because it was all new, sometimes it was a conflict of interest. Like, what is this blog thing you're doing? What are you talking about over here? And it's like, girl, we're talking about what I wore to whatever event. And, it was still figuring it out as I went along. And doing that was great, but my degree is in English, right? And my mom told me, if you can read well, if you can write well, you can speak well, you can do anything. And that's how the whole television thing blew up, or just how it went on the path that it was. And again, like that hustle of like, what's these opportunities? Like, oh yeah, you want me to write? Oh, I can write for you. I can do that. Now, if you ask me to write something, I'm like, I don't feel like writing. I don't really want to write any more than a caption, okay? Like, and it's like, my script questions and that's it. Like, I do not want any column. And I shouldn't say that because I am open to any opportunities that come. But it was just like, how do I get my name out there? Oh, Ebony, you'll let me write? Yep, all right. Black Enterprise, you'll let me write? Yep. We can talk about style in the workplace. Absolutely. I know something about that. And so it's really like, again, how can I combine my passion with my talent? How can I get my name out there? How can I just be in as many rooms as possible while building my brand, growing my network, and just taking my craft to the next level?
And what I love about that so much is that you were able to literally create your own world. You literally created Kéla's world. How were you able, because not everyone is able to do this. My next question, how were you able to transfer or translate being a media personality into being pretty much an influencer? Because I feel like you're let's not discredit the fact that you just so happen to be fashionable, beauty, media well, culture very well. I feel like, Renee we did a podcast episode together as well, most recently, and we were talking about this because I feel like Black girls blogging was a very specific time in history. It was like the early 2000s, 2010s, where Black women started getting on Blogger, showcasing their style and whatnot. How has going from that era to now being an influencer, quote unquote, or being a content creator, how has that been like for you? How has that transition been like, going from traditional blogging to now having to show up on social media on all of these different platforms?
If I'm being honest, I'm trying to find the right words, because sometimes I tend to be like, especially when I don't have to be like on camera and say the proper thing. I tend to keep it too real. So I have to be mindful of that.
Listen, be as real, but also be as, do what say what's best for you. Like,
no, for sure. It's been the sort of natural progression and evolution, right? Like the blogging, like as social media, specifically Instagram, took over, like it just felt like the blog was less relevant because people wanted quick and instantaneous access and weren't leaving their phone or weren't leaving the current site that they were in to go to the next site, right? And so you kind of go with the trends and you go with the flow of like, okay, this is where the people are. Let me go where the people are. And then you're logging in less and less into your blogger space or your blog site in general. And I mean, in hindsight, I wish I would have kept it up, but it's a lot to do because I am a one woman show. Like I'm doing everything from styling myself, coordinating the looks and getting a team together, putting it up, making sure it looks the part. Like it's a lot, as I'm sure you know, to do all the things. You're running.
Yes, to have to do everything is a lot.
You're working on a fashion line and you like, I need to make sure it looks the way it's supposed to look. And you're like, oh, you should just get an assistant. You should just let it go. Like easier said than done. I need to see this through. That sounds nice. But in reality, maybe there are some control issues there that we need to confront, but we are also very particular. And so for me, I've always been really into fashion very early on. It was really, as cliche as it sounds, passionate about fashion and wanting to figure out how I can combine that with what I do. And so again, blogging just felt like that natural thing to do. And like, when I'm doing these, I learned very early on when covering red carpets, you had to look the part. And it sounds like a no-brainer, but people sometimes show up and they show up in all black. And like for me, I never wear black on a carpet because for me, as much as people love black and black is slimming and black is forgiving, black is forgettable. Nobody remembers the girl in black. They will remember the black girl, but you're like, oh, the one in black. And it's like, which one? Because everyone wears black, but that girl in red, you'll remember her, or the one that showed up in yellow or just color of some sort. So I knew I learned very early on that fashion spoke for me before I ever opened my mouth. Publicists would walk up and they'd be like, what outlet are you with? And they kind of give you the elevator look. Like, are you worthy of being talked to? Do you look good? I might not know that outlet, but I know this outfit,
Right.
So it was a way for me to speak up without saying a word. And I mean, I'm forgetting what the original question was, but it's very early on. It was a way for me to own my narrative, for me to identify with people who may not understood what I do, who may not be able to catch me on television. But, it's that saying of you may not know me, you may not like me, but you will like my outfit, that kind of thing. So it's just a way for me to engage with people and again grow my brands very early on. Did that answer the question?
No, you absolutely did answer the question, because the question was pretty much, how did you go from traditional media to now being on social media and being a media personality?
It's this natural progression. It's this very natural progression. But I always say, like, social media didn't give me my Emmy nominations. I have 7 Emmy nominations, and that comes from traditional media. And so being able to genuinely be myself and show up in spaces and have a voice and give that voice to people, places, and things and tell a story has really just helped me grow, whether it's online, on air, or in person.
Like, I'm that girl in person, online, on a blog, on Instagram, on TikTok. I'm just still that girl.
Whatever do you want it? That part.
So let's go back a little bit. Yeah. Because I want to actually talk about your Emmy nominations. How did it feel to receive these How did it feel to receive these nominations, and how did it impact your career?
Yeah, I will say, at first I was like, I never thought I could be nominated. I didn't think what I did or what I do mattered. You know, I'm not saving lives. I'm not delivering babies. I am talking about fluff. You know, how excited are you to be here tonight at the red carpet premiere? OMG, Sex in the City is filming in the city, you know, like, but what I've come to understand is that I cover, I share, I give a voice to the things that make people smile and bring joy, if you will, right? And it just alleviate the burdens of the world that we so often deal with. And so that first Emmy nomination was like, whoa, oh shoot. Like it was like literally still, I get so excited today because it was like, oh my gosh, what I do matters. People are paying attention, and not only are they paying attention, but I'm good. And I didn't know like it was a thing because I'm self-taught. Like I was not formally trained. I am trial and error, baby. Like we're gonna figure it out along the way. I'm gonna watch the people who I admire, take notes, see how I can perfect the craft and make it my own. And so that first nomination was like, oh shoot, I'm nominated with like the ABCs and the NBCs. Like I really do work in the #1 television market in the world. So it was very validating. And I mean, again, sounds cliche, but I didn't even need the win. Like I'm like,
the nomination was enough for me.
The nomination was enough. I was like, baby, I'm in the room. I'm here. I'm the best of the best this season. Did you make the cut? Because I did. You know,
like, wrap it up. Wrap it up.
It's like, you know, what's that? The ice cream with the cake, or like you can have your cake. What's the icing?
You can have your cake and eat it too.
No, it was like, oh, so winning would have been icing on the cake.
Icing on the cake. The icing on top. Cake. Yeah.
I don't even like icing, so I was good. You know what I mean? And so
are you one of those people who wipe off the icing on a cupcake before you eat it?
I am. Yeah, that's me. Can you just take that off, please?
Too much sugar. I just hate when it's a little too much. It's like, okay, just a little bit.
Bottom, actually. Yeah, I am that person that wipes the icing off the cupcake. And so winning would have been like icing on the cake, right? And so as great as that would have been, and still would be, again, it was just so amazing to be nominated because I just never saw myself there. I'd never thought anybody even saw me or thought anything that I did was worthy.
They saw your outfit, girl. They definitely did.
Listen, they saw one in that outfit. They heard that talent. They saw that storytelling. They saw that producing, that skill set. Because my very first Emmy nomination was television hosting and producing. And so it means the most to me because, again, I was not trained formally. I was not taught. It was literally just me being myself, being passionate about the things that I was covering, and you know, engaging audiences and sharing that story with others. And so that first one meant the most. And now we have 7, and I'm starting to feel like the Susan Lucci of the Emmys. But I'm happy no less to have Susan Lucci. Was such an old school reference for anyone that's watching. Back in the day, All My Children, the soap operas.
Wow.
And
my grandmother used to always watch that.
My grandmother too. 1 o'clock, the world stopped because All My Children was coming on.
In General Hospital.
General Hospital was at 3. Yeah. Because One Life to Live was at 2. Okay.
And One Life to Live. Yes. Yo, growing up in New York City in the 90s was it was a vibe.
So different. And so Susan Lucci had like 13 Emmy nominations before she won 1.
Wow. But you know what? We're going to manifest. We're going to manifest for you because just the fact that you're consistently on people's radars. And I think what sets you apart is that you're an actual person. You're very personable and your personality is larger than life. I swear the first time I ever met Kéla, I'm like, did I know her my whole entire life? And I would just always have the best time with her every time we go. Whenever I see Kéla, I'm like, okay, we about to turn her. My Turner buddy's here. We're always going to have a time. And I feel that your personality and your character, because you mentioned this earlier, it shines through. And if anything, that is what's going to, you're in my eyes, you winning, girl. You already winning. I'm pretty sure that all of us, you already winning. But my next question is, you do a lot. when you look at it, you do a lot, right? How do you manage multiple roles and ensure that you maintain high quality content across all of these different platforms? Because your writing's been featured in InStyle, Essence, Time Out New York. You're on Instagram. You're on the red carpet. You're in so many different places at once. How do you balance everything?
Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Girl, you just get it done by the grace of God. Like by
the
God,
grace of God.
By the grace of God. It's just like it's literally like one step at a time. I'm gonna cross that bridge when I get there. We got this. Okay. When we get there, like it's just, and hope and surrounding myself with people who ideally will help me along the way. I have an amazing photographer. Shout out to Shatima Brathwaite, who's helps me capture my content. And I'm also just really like particular about like how I show up and how I am present, because I know that as a Black woman in media, it's not just about me, but it's about us. And when they look at us, they think of all of us. And so I just want to be very mindful of when I'm in spaces and places, and how I show up to not just represent me, but to represent us. But also, with social media, like it's fun and it's cool, but like this is my scrapbook. So I can look back and be like, yeah, baby, look at your girl when she was on the carpet at the Met Gala. That was my 10th year doing, like just, it's my scrapbook. It's my memory book. It helps me see where I've been, how it's going, and reminds me of how far I've come along. But it's really day by day, Brittany. Some days I'm like, and I'm gonna hold you. Sometimes my anxiety, it's not easy. I want to be very clear, it's not easy. Sometimes I have anxiety after the fact or leading up to, because it's like, oh my God, because we're in this space, in this place where it's like, if you didn't post it, it didn't happen. And it's like, nah, it did happen though. Like I'm working, but people like, it's the look that gets you booked, and you got to be seen to be on the scene. And it's like,
yeah.
So sometimes my anxiety is like, and I just gotta, again, I'll step back and take a breather. And remember, again, I ain't saving lives and I ain't delivering babies. Like, it's just social. Like, if they get it on Friday when it happened on Monday, it don't matter because you wasn't there no way. So it's new to you either way. So it's just day by day, God. Yeah. And balance is this illusion. Sometimes you juggling stuff and you like, oh, I got it all in this hand. And then you're like, oh, wait, let me juggle it over here a little bit. Like it's every day is different. Sometimes you do it well. Sometimes you drop it. And guess what? When it drops, you don't post. And nobody sees that. Like you ain't got to tell that story. Maybe you put it in the stories and it disappears in 24 hours. If you saw it, you saw it. Great. If you did it, so be it. But God, thank you, Father God, Lord Jesus.
I would just love to add that Kéla is amazing at social media content capturing in the moment. Like we'll be at an event and you literally see her capturing content. And then by the time I get home and I'm on the train, I already see it posted. I'm like, damn, she's good. Like
I appreciate you, Brittany, but sometimes, and it's a mood too, because sometimes people are like, oh, you didn't post. I'm like, I wasn't in the mood.
Right.
I wasn't in the mood, or the moment passed. And so it was like,
but I feel like it's also, especially if you are a person, you are a personality, you are a content creator, influencer, or you're someone that's out in these spaces, it is best to post immediately or while you're on your way home, because if not, it's going to just be in your photo album of a graveyard on your phone. So many events on my phone that I've been to.
R.I.P. Like me. Somebody told me your phone is the place that content goes to die.
It is. I have a lot of dead content on my phone.
Dun, 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 dun. And so I, if I'm being honest, I'm constantly trying to buck that. Like my phone will not be the place that this content goes to die. And so letting go a little bit, like, okay, maybe that happened last week and I didn't get to share it last week. I'm gonna share it now, because again, the person, whoever your audience is, they weren't there. And and even if someone else was there and they shared it, it doesn't matter, because they want to hear your perspective. They want to hear your voice. The way you tell a story is going to be completely different from the way I tell a story. And your audience is your audience for a reason, right? And so, I'll get so like wrapped up in like, because the traditional media, And the storytelling producer aspect of me, I'm like, I've got to tell a full, complete story. It's got to have a beginning, it's got to have a middle, and it's got to have an end. And it gets a little neurotic sometimes. But listen, that's why I got the Emmy nominations, y'all, because I know how to tell a good story. And listen, like I said, sometimes it makes it to the social media space, and sometimes it just stays on my camera
and goes into the content graveyard.
A time was had. A time was had.
And I think that's the most important part. As long as we have a good time, that's all that matters. But I want to ask, what were some of the most rewarding moments in your career so far? What challenges have you faced and how did you overcome them?
I think what's been most rewarding for me is even moments like this and like hearing from other Black girls in the storytelling space and being seen, right? And knowing that it's not in vain. It was always my mission to be a positive Black girl in media and to show that it was possible, because when I was young and coming up, I didn't see a lot of us in this space.
Definitely didn't.
Definitely did not. You know, it was like Oprah on TV.
That was it.
That was it. Oprah at 4 o'clock. That was it. And so it's so beautiful now to see the evolution of media and see how we show up in so many ways and how we literally take up space across the board, whether it's traditional or new media. And so it's been really rewarding to be seen, that it's not in vain, and that like whether you are telling a story on a local network or you're doing a post that looks all glitz and glamour, that I'm seen by other women who are inspired, especially with social media. It allows me to engage with women who I'll never get to meet or know in real life, but to get the note saying that they're inspired to live their life, to live out loud, to live well. Like, that's all I want us to do. Like, girl, show up and show out. You ain't got to work in media. I don't care if you work in banking. I don't care if you a teacher. I don't care if you do yoga. Like, live your life and live it well. And so it's inspiring for me, you know, to share that with other women and to hear them being, you know, inspired, you know, because essentially I just aspire to inspire, right? And so that's been really rewarding in the community that I've built. Like, again, people that root for me that have never met me at all. And like, oh, you releasing a collection with Amazon? We buying it. We showing up. And it's like, the community means the most. That's been really rewarding because, and I think just being here because, again, I was born in North Carolina, small town. When I was there, the roads was not even paved. When they paved them, it was named Walker Road because my family had been there for so long. And so like my grandmother cleaned a house. My other grandmother worked in a factory, and they're both were named Lena, which is wild. Like, I had grandma, my father's mom was Lena and my mom's mom was Lena. And I always sometimes put in my post, I'm like, the Lenas would be so proud because they would never like, she was cleaning a house and she was working in a factory. And here I am on a red carpet interviewing Alicia Keys, talking about the Tony Awards and taking over the Great White Way, you know? And so I literally am my ancestors' wildest dreams. So those are moments that I am really proud of. And that I get to live this life that I could not have even imagined as a little girl in North Carolina as I watched TV, and just wondered how are they there? What are they doing? I can't remember the rest of that question.
Wow, I'm just in awe right now because the whole time you were talking, I was like, well, you were your ancestors' wildest dreams. Like, and you literally took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
No, but the rest of the question was, what challenges have you faced and how have you overcome them, or how have you overcome them?
The challenges now for me is like what we've been talking about sort of all along, merging that traditional media with the new media, because there is no blueprint. There is no one before us that did it. Everyone is figuring it out. And so figuring it out for myself, and it's been a challenge, but it's also been really rewarding because I've been able to sort of pave my own lane, right? And show that it is possible and that you don't have to be any one thing. And I will say, like, you know, now it could be a challenge because people so want to put a label on you, like, oh, she's a stylist. And it's like, no, I'm not a stylist. I'm stylish. There's a difference. Or like, oh,
stylish,
she's a blogger.
not a stylist.
Right. Like, it's a difference. And it's like, oh, she's a blogger. And it's like, no, I'm not a blogger. I had a blog. But like, again, Blogging is not what gave you my Emmy nominations, but people are so quick to label you and identify you just because of what's familiar to them or what they know. And that's not who I am. And so it's always a challenge to be recognized for what I actually do, right? And sometimes even to identify and explain what I actually do, which goes back to why I said, like, it's so great to be seen and respected and acknowledged for what I do, because people, it can just I don't know. That was not a full complete sentence, and it sounds like I have no media training in that, y'all, but I got all really like,
you use the emotion, use the onomatopoeia.
Emo. That sounds, yes.
I am weak. So
excuse me.
My next question is because we already know you work in a really fast-paced and high-profile industry, right? So you already spoke about work-life balance, and pretty much there is no such thing as balance. Well, no, actually, we spoke about you balancing everything that you do, but how do you actually maintain a healthy work-life balance itself?
Well, I'm fortunate in that I'm not like I'm not like the new school is new, like the new influencers or content creators, I should say. Like, it's so funny. My friend and I was having this conversation, like there's a content creator and there's an influencer, and there's just someone, I don't know, who I don't even have a word for per se, but like content creators in the traditional sense, like they are creating content all day, every day. Like they are getting up and they are putting on makeup just to get on camera. And I'm like, I'm not that girl. If I put on makeup, baby, it's with a purpose. You know what I mean? We going somewhere. We doing something. We talking to Brittany on the show. Like I'm not just putting on makeup for the camera, right?
Same.
Right. Like, and so, but when I do, that's when I'll create the content and that's when I'll share the story. And so I balance it. I'm fortunate in that, like, I every day is different. And there are some days where I get to lean in completely and engage and share and do all the things. And there are some days where I just tap out, where I'm like, I ain't got it in me. Today ain't the day. Today is my day, and so it's literally, I want to say also just like giving myself grace and also being mindful. Like we talk about grace so often, but sometimes being mindful, like, all right, now that's too much grace. Get your ass up and get to work. Like, because grace ain't gonna pay these bills over here, and so it's this ebb and this flow of balance and being able to manage the workflow. And some days I succeed at it really well, and then some days I don't. But through that, it's knowing that grace, again, I'm a child of God. I know that he will not forsake me. If he taking care of the birds and the bees, surely he gonna take care of me. And believe
I love that line. I love that line. If God is taking care of the birds and the bees, then he's surely taking care of me. Amen. Hallelujah. What does self-care mean to you, and how do you incorporate it into your busy schedule?
Self-care is everything to me. I love how it's so trendy now. And I'm like, okay. But like, for me, self-care is everything from like tapping out and sitting on the phone, kikiing with my girls. It's not just like something that has to have this expensive price tag on it or this big lofty experience. And while those are nice, it's everything from just like, girl, let's go get a drink, or like sit here and watch TV. Let's watch Shonda Rhimes Thursday and just tune into that. It's quality time with my friends. It's with my family. It is getting that massage. It is living a soft life as much as possible, drinking my water out of wine glasses just because I want to drink out of the pretty glass. So it's all the things, and it's really just taking care of me. Taking care of me.
I gotta put me first, Lucius.
I gotta put me first. I gotta choose me, Lucius. I gotta choose me.
I gotta put me first, Lucius.
Always. And especially I think as a single woman, as you get older, you're like, baby, it's me. I'm the Beyonce of my world.
As you should.
As you should, but it's romanticizing my life. It's leaning into that soft life. I think soft life, so many people are like, oh, it's expensive. And I'm like, no, soft life is just, I don't eat off the paper plates. I put my takeout on my good china, and I don't reserve my good china for special occasions. That's anytime I feel like it, and so that's self-care for me, doing the things that my heart desires, whatever that may be. Going to get the burger or eating the lobster. or just again drinking the water out the wine glass. It's
or you could go to Burger and Lobster and get both. You can definitely get both. Now, my next question is,
girl. I'm the girl that orders like all the appetizers because I want to taste this, I want to taste that, I want to taste that.
You know what's so funny? Me and my girlfriend, we went to Budokan. When was it? For her birthday last year, and we ordered so much food, and everything was amazing. Everything was amazing, and we were like, we just want to go and order. Yeah. I am the girl that ordered 2 entrees because I want to try more than one thing.
See, first of all, let me know next time you go to Budokan because I love me some Budokan.
We gonna do a Budokan date.
What you need is 4 people, right? So you can do the tasting menu, and you talk about tasting everything, girl. What I will never steer you wrong on is food and fashion. You want to know where to eat at? I got you. You want to know what to wear? I'm gonna tell you. But Budokan, the tasting menu is amazing. But all that to say, like, I will order mad stuff because I want it, and I'm like, who gonna tell me no? Who will forsake me in this moment?
And that's the best thing about having girlfriends too, because especially girlfriends that like to go out to eat. Like I love doing the family style thing because it gives you an opportunity to try a little bit of everything.
And I don't really cook. Like, I mean, I can, for the record, I can. But do I want to? No. By the time I go out there, do the work, then I gotta go grocery shopping, then I gotta come home and prep the food, cook the food. Eat the food is fun, but then I gotta clean the dishes. Never mind, okay? I'll Uber Eats that bad boy, okay? Never mind. It's too much work. It's too much work. Or if I do buy the food, by the time I get to cook it, it's done spoiled. Never mind, baby. Just I'm gonna make reservations and we're gonna get something to eat to go.
I'm crying because there's been so many times where I'm like, all right, I'm going to go grocery shopping. And then right after I go grocery shopping, I go get takeout because I'm so tired from grocery shopping.
You're tired.
I'm like, I want to eat right now. I can't just blink and my groceries just cook themselves and meal prep for me. I need to eat right now in this moment.
And you hungry grocery shopping and you bought a whole bunch of stuff you ain't need because you was hungry and you like, ooh, yeah, I'm gonna make tacos. I'm gonna do this. And you're gonna make half of that stuff. And it's gonna spoil in the fridge. Because you ain't got the time to make the other half.
That definitely used to be me years ago. But I think once I got really serious about my fitness journey, that's when I started cooking and meal prepping all the time because you get so tired. You know, you come home from the gym. I can't even think about what I want to order for takeout. I need something in the fridge right now that's already prepared. So I think it definitely depends on where you are, the stage in your life. Like right now, I'm super busy. So the most convenient thing for me to do is to order takeout. So it's seasonal.
What do you keep in your fridge at all times? Like, what's the one thing you keep in your fridge, no matter what?
Ooh, avocados. I feel like avocados is something that we always keep in the fridge because you can never go wrong with avocado toast. Like it took me years to get into avocado. And then I finally got into it in like my early 20s. And I was like, oh, I was missing out on this. And it's like, you could just literally some avocado, slice it up with some olive oil, a little bit of lemon juice, salt, pepper. I add like the little chili oil on top. And it's like it just takes the simplest dish and just adds like a little bit on it. But I will also say something I always keep in the house. My doctor would probably gag if she heard me say this is shrimp because my cholesterol is a little high. So I went to the doctor. She's like, do you eat a lot of shrimp? And girl, I literally just imagine myself being a shrimp in that moment because I'm like, do I eat a lot of shrimp? I am a shrimp girl. Like that's all if we go out and there is shrimp and chicken and steak on the menu, I am going for the shrimp. I don't know why. And people be like, oh, you like sea roaches? Them sea roaches taste.
Yeah, I do. Pass them over. You don't want yours? I'll take them.
And they be like, you a Cancer. You're not supposed to eat your friends. Excuse me.
Goodbye, man.
Like, excuse me. I love me some crab, but I will say this: I stopped eating snow crab because I started eating king crab, and I can't go back to snow crab. I can't. Like you would like king crab.
It's like big bang, take little bang. Like, why would I ever go back?
Why would I ever go back? That's like dating a millionaire and then going back to dating somebody who only makes minimum wage.
Broke boys don't deserve no. I know that's right. Like, no, you can't do that. No.
Wait, so Kéla, because you are such a big beauty girl. Like, Kéla, how many lipsticks you got in your purse right now?
Oh my God.
Right. So, Kéla has 5 lipsticks, if that, in her purse. probably right now, currently, possibly. But I want to ask you, what makeup and skincare products that you have that are a must-have? Like you cannot live without these products.
I have to have a really good lippy, as we said. So, all 7 of the ones that are in my bag, we're gonna put that as one. Okay. It's not
What is the top lipstick you can't live without?
Right now I'm really into Mimic Beauty, created by a Black female makeup artist. And it's really great nudes, glow. I'm wearing it right now.
What color is that? That's pretty.
This is, I want to say Strength is my favorite color from Mimic Beauty.
Okay.
So she has all these gorgeous nudes for all of our complexions. And so I'm really into her. And I'll wear lip gloss, like lip oil. Like I'm putting it on consistently. I also really love a NYX tiramisu. If we're talking about something you can get your hands on really quick.
Girl, I love the butter gloss, the NYX butter gloss.
That is my jam. I love that. And that's what the Mimic Beauty reminds me of. So if you want to support a Black female entrepreneur, she's really great. I'm really into Danessa Myricks skincare. Danessa Myricks got the MUAs in a chokehold. Everybody uses Danessa Myricks when it comes to the beauty products. Skin-wise, I really love Dr. Barbara Sturm's skincare line. She taught me what it was to just be very routine in your beauty, and it doesn't have to be complicated. Just simplify it, but be consistent.
What products specifically would you recommend from Dr. Barbara Sturm?
Yeah, she has a line that is for darker skin tones, and she created that with Angela Bassett, right? When she said Angela Bassett, I was like, I'm sold. Say less. See very clean.
Because Angela Bassett looks the same way she did 50 years ago.
Hi, since she was running across the street as Tina. So her darker skin tone foam wash, the enzyme cleaner, the hyaluronic serum, and the moisturizer, or the rich cream moisturizer, hands down. I use those without a doubt. I just added Tasha Beauty to my routine, and I am in love. Like, just that dewiness to your skin. Like, I'm like, am I oily over here or am I dewy? Baby, it's radiance, okay? It's radiance that I'm giving you over
here. Is it a moisturizer?
So she has a serum. There's a serum. I don't know. I'm saying she. I don't know what Tasha is. There's a serum and there's a moisturizer. I have added both and the spray. I literally bought 3. I'm a bulk buyer, guys. I never buy one of anything. Like, I buy multiple things. Like, and I don't want to run out. Speaking of which, I love BHA, Paula's Choice BHA, exfoliating beauty, exfoliating.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, in the gray bottle. I cannot run out of that. What else? I mean, I feel like, oh, I am so into like cleansing balms, right? To take off all the beauty. And I love the one from Elemis.
Yes, I've always heard about that one.
I love it to just melt away the products. And they say you're not supposed to use cleansing wipes, but it just helps to like alleviate all the buildup of all the things. What else do I really love?
Foundation. Was it Danessa Myricks? Danessa Myricks?
Like foundation wash. I'm not a big foundation girl. Okay. I will like spot conceal and like blend that in, because I feel like after you contour and do all the things, girl, and here we are. Right. It's just like everything that blended out. Like, I want my skin to look like skin. I want to look like who I am. I don't want to take my makeup off and you're like, well, who is she? Hello,
right.
To meet you. And so I will do foundation if I'm like, I'm going to be on camera, or I'm going to be like, depending on what I'm doing. But if I use foundation, I'm doing Fenty. I mean, we got to put Fenty on the list, right? Like
Fenty. What about concealer?
Concealer wise, right now, I am really into, a lot of people are sleeping on Fashion Fair. I know it is our aunties.
I love their rebrand. They did a really cute rebrand.
Can we talk?
No, they did a really cute rebrand with like the mint rebrand.
Yes, I do love their rebrand. I will say that. I wish more people knew about it, because I think a lot of people are still sleeping on it, because I don't even know if I want to say this out loud. I do love the rebrand. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on it. I feel like it is a product, it is a brand worth noting and paying attention to. And I think so often we're so quick to go for the new flashy thing that we need to really pay attention to what is, we really need to pay attention to what is tried and true. And so that's where Fashion Fair comes into play. And they just released a new concealer, which I absolutely love, this creamy concealer, which is phenomenal. And they have some lip glosses, which are really great. So I would tell people to look into Fashion Fair's new concealers. So phenomenal. I've been using that a lot lately. And Huda Beauty, I love Huda Beauty. Again, another one that got the girls in the chokehold.
Are you a blush girl?
A little bit, but like a liquid blush. I don't want my
Okay.
face to look flat, like, but a little bit, like a little. I had a little bit more because I was like, I'm about to be on this with Brittany today, but
Yes.
like, I like a liquid blush. I don't like harsh, like, oh my gosh, like just I'm more of like a highlighter girl. I want my eyes to pop, my nose to bling,
What
like.
highlighter do you love?
Oh, I have like this really old highlighter. Like, I don't even think they make this no more. Like I be using it like slightly. It's by a brand that's defunct. Cami Cosmetics makes a really great highlighter. Another Black female owned brand that I love. And what I love about supporting these brands is like supporting like Black female um founders and creators. But what's hard is that like you have to go to their website. And I think we're so used to like going to a Target or a mass producer or a mass retailer, I should say, to buy products. And sometimes you just got to do a little bit more research, go a little bit further, and take the interest in those that are not at mass retailers. And you'll find that they're probably worth more bang for your buck. And so again, we have the Mimic Beauty, the Cami Cosmetics. Who else is Black female owned, but maybe not at mass retailers? That's it right now. That's all I can think of in the moment.
I love that just because I'm always here for like the beauty equity conversation, especially when it comes to Black founders. I've worked with so many beauty brands before, and
Yeah.
it's just I feel like it's just so necessary for us to be able to take up space in retail. I think brands that do very well are like Pat McGrath, Danessa Myricks, but because they've been makeup artists, like they have been on the scene
They have been on the
for
scene. Also think
years.
about like they probably I don't know about Pat McGrath, but I know that Nessa Myrick was doing makeup long before it was a Sephora. And but this was I remember
Way before.
before Sephora. And I remember the girls would talk about Danessa Myricks, and I was like, how can I get it? Where do I go? Because I wanted to get that instant gratification of touching it. But it was like you could only get it on her website
For
for
a very
a
long
really long
time.
time.
I'm
And the quantity wasn't the same, as it is now, where there's bulk of the product and lots of it in stock. But back in the day, it was like sold out. If you better catch it next time.
And it's so interesting because I remember going to this conference one time, and I forgot if he was like the head of beauty at Sephora. I forgot what his position was, and he was like, we literally had to fight. He was like, I had to fight to get Danessa Myricks into Sephora. He was like, she's probably one of the most innovative makeup artists ever. And I haven't tried Danessa Myricks products yet. I've definitely tried Pat McGrath's. I absolutely love Pat McGrath. I try to stick to brands like I love Amicole. Love Amicole.
Oh, I love the way you say it. Say it again.
Amicole. Is that how you pronounce it, or is it Amicole?
I say Amicole, but you said Amicole.
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 Because I try to throw my little French accent every time.
Listen, I love it. Amicole.
Every single time, I'm always trying
like Amicole.
Amicole.
So American. Amicole.
I love it.
I love her lip products as well. I love Amicole. I buy them by the bulk, but they can get a little expensive. Them glosses is
I have all of them. I love all of them. I love the glosses. I love her brow pencil. I think
do too. The brow pencil is really good.
The brow pencil is really good. Her products are amazing. I definitely feel like just as a woman in general, having like a really cute little go-to makeup routine or like those go-to products, I feel like it's just so essential. Absolutely. Which is why I always ask these questions, because I'm like, what's in your beauty bag? What's in your makeup bag?
You need a quick 5-minute face, like things that like you just need your routine. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it just needs to work for you. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, the lip bar. I mean, that goes.
I've never tried the lip bar actually.
The skin products are actually really good. She has makeup products that I absolutely love. Like she has this really, I don't know if they changed the branding on it, but it was called the Fast Face. And it was literally one palette that had your contour, your blush.
I remember seeing that.
And it was really good. She had one called like Stunner. Like that'd be my jam. I'd be like, boom, 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 done. And you could literally create a fast face in no time, so I love the lip bar and the innovation that she's been doing over there.
That's such a smart idea. I know that they opened up a second line with Target, I believe called Thread, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it's Thread or Thrive or something like that.
Thrive. It might be Thrive. Yes. The brand, I think it's called Thrive. There's another brand that's at Target that I feel like is just as amazing. It's called Mented Cosmetics.
Mented, Black female.
They make the best lip liners, y'all. If you can get 2 lip liner colors, one is called Foxy and one is called Midnight. Those two colors are always sold out.
What they like, browns?
Browns. But like the perfect brown. That, and people always sleep on Sephora lip liners too. Let me tell you, Sephora, the best for Black girls, get molasses. I forgot the name of the other color. I'm gonna try to remember it.
I like the Makeup Forever Limitless Brown. Like, that's because, you know, sometimes the brown be like too harsh and it'd be like, oh, dirty mouth. You need to blend a little bit more, right? Like, but like that.
Or it's too gray.
I don't like the like black around your lips, like, baby.
Oh my God. Okay, so I don't want to shade this one brand, but there is Huda Beauty makes this lip liner, and it's like a really dark brown, but it turns green on your lips, and I'm like, what is this? It makes me so upset. Like, that's why I just sometimes you can never go wrong with MAC Chestnut.
Oh, never.
Classic. Night Moth. You can never go wrong. Never. You can never go wrong with the Coke Classic.
Like, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. But we be like, oh, what's new? And it's like, girl, just stick to what works.
That part. You gotta, and that's what I feel like is about owning your own look. It's about sticking to what works, sticking to what makes you gorgeous, what makes you feel gorgeous, what makes you look beautiful, what enhances your features. Kéla, thank you so much for this water cooler convo. Thank you to all of our listeners that are tuned in. Please make sure you follow Kéla on all social networks. She is Kéla Walker, Kela. Okay, not Kayla, Kayla. No. It's Kéla with the accent over the E. Okay,
stuck on my name, accent over the E.
Accent over the E. Okay, it's Kéla. Okay, it has a little flair to it. So be sure to support her. Run up her likes, run up her mentions. If you see an ad or a sponsored post, make sure you double tap in and you leave in a comment. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Not So CEO Talk Show. If you love what you're hearing, hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. To stay in the loop, stack our newsletter, The Paper, and follow us on social media at Not So CEO. In case you need assistance with building your brand, or you're a creative wanting to go from freelancer to founder, book an office hour session with me on our website at notsoceo.co. Until next time, remember, being self-made shouldn't compromise self-care. This is Not So CEO, signing off.